Hi, I'm Jim Love, CIO of IT World Canada, and I'm unboxing the DTEK60, BlackBerry's newest in its line of Android phones. When you take it out of the box, it's not immediately apparent how the DTEK60 is different than its predecessor, the DTEK50. That's because, for the most part, BlackBerry is not emphasizing the physical device. In fact, they've outsourced most of the design and all of the manufacturing of their phones. But what BlackBerry is emphasizing is what's inside and the user experience. Now, the emphasis is on the software, focusing on closer integration with their larger software portfolio. Secure Smart, that's high-level voice and messaging encryption. Watchdocs, that's secure file sharing. Good, secure business class email and collaboration tools. And their existing products of BBM messaging, the BES enterprise mobility management software. Attempting to position their message of a secure device in the context of the Internet of Things, and if you've been following what's been happening over the past few weeks, as IoT devices have been exploited to mount attacks on the Internet servers, with devastating effect, I might say, this is a perfectly timed message. Even as it moves from its own operating system to the Android operating system, which fairly or unfairly is perceived as being less secure, BlackBerry has doubled down on security as its key message. The DTEK60 comes with Android 6.0, Marshmallow, with BlackBerry's own hardening of the Linux core. This isn't the latest version of Android, that's version 7, Nougat, but Android 6, Marshmallow, incorporated a lot of new security features and some other improvements like allowing for fingerprint sensors and added battery management. BlackBerry claims they've added some key hardening to the Linux kernel itself. Obviously, they aren't really forthcoming about all the details. But if you take BlackBerry at its word, what you don't see is important, the security on the inside. But let's look beyond the security. One question I had is, how does this new phone compare with the DTEK50? Frankly, it's hard to tell them apart at first, but that's a good thing. The DTEK is light, comfortable in your hand, and maybe this isn't for everyone, but it fits into your pocket easily. But when you look closer, size. The DTEK60 is thinner than the DTEK50. The 50 was already a slim phone, 7.4 millimeters, less than a third of an inch. The DTEK60 is about 10% thinner at under 7 millimeters. Clearer screen, 534 pixels per inch versus 424 pixels per inch on the DTEK50. BlackBerry claims that's 4 times the amount of pixels in standard HD TV. Now, clearly, BlackBerry is looking to compete based on consumer demand for video and video display. They've not only upped the game for the DTEK50, they've gone head-to-head with every other manufacturer. They beat out the iPhone 7 Plus with only 401 pixels per inch, or Google's new Pixel with 441 pixels per inch. Only the Galaxy S7 has richer display at 577 pixels per inch. They've juiced up the camera. The DTEK60 has a 21 megapixel camera on the rear of the phone versus 13 megapixels on the DTEK50. And on most other phones in the market today, making it again one of the best around by a wide margin. Battery, 3,000 milliamps versus 2,610 milliamps for the DTEK50. What that translates to, you won't know until you use it. BlackBerry says the DTEK60 will hold up for 24 hours of mixed use versus 17 hours they claim for the DTEK50. But I've never found out who this magical mixed user is. As someone who uses the phone constantly, if I can make it through a business day, I'm a happy camper. And that has to do with more than just battery. Processor. Phew, well, if you can understand the processor descriptions, you're a better man than me. All I can say is that the Snapdragon 820 is rated higher than the processor in the DTEK50 at 1.6 gigahertz versus 1.5 gigahertz. But there's more to it than that, and I think I'll leave that commentary to others. But hopefully it's peppier than the DTEK50, which is acceptable, but not blazing speeds. But here's 2 differences you are going to notice. Fingerprint sensor. BlackBerry has included a fingerprint sensor. This is the only thing that made me miss my Nexus 6. A good addition and proof that they're going head-to-head for the prosumer market. Another difference with the DTEK60? USB-C. All of your old spare cables won't work. Now, maybe they learned something from Apple. At $30 a cable, this will add to your expense, but hopefully the double speed of USB-C will make this worthwhile. The verdict? It's a great phone out of the box. It's kept the best of the DTEK50, which is a great phone for the price. It will come to market in the mid $600 range Canadian, which is a lot more than the DTEK60, but a lot less than the iPhone, the Pixel, or Samsung equivalents. So on prices and features, if you have a corporate fleet of phones, or if you're a prosumer purchaser, this is a phone that compares with everything else and at a very reasonable price. I've said this before, I love all phones, and I've had a number of them, the iPhone, the Google Nexus, the Samsung, but for many reasons, the DTEK60 has become my go-to phone of choice, weighing the good and the bad. But I can see, with the addition of the fingerprint sensor and some of the new features on the DTEK60, it just might become my phone of choice.